Hi everyone, today we're covering new fragrance releases and I'll be sharing my thoughts on whether I want to purchase these or not. This is a weekly series that I do here on this channel every single Monday where we sit back and we just talk about what's new on the market. I like to be very analytical about these things. I am fascinated by marketing and the way these fragrances are presented. So we are going to be talking about notes, we are going to be talking about the bottles, we're going to be discussing approach, and I am quite interested in this lineup that we have here. We have some really interesting new releases. So without further ado, let's get into it. But if this is your first time on this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love fragrances and I talk about them here every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, along with a ton of bonus content in between. So if you're interested, do consider subscribing. The first fragrance we're talking about today is Palatine by Parfum de Marly. This is a really interesting release with top notes of pear, mandarin, and bergamot, a mid of violet, and then a base of musk and sandalwood. I, for one, when I first saw this fragrance and when I read the notes, I got really excited because personally I love a violet note. I love fragrances that have a little bit of a powdery quality to them, and I feel like the citrus here will really make it nice and light and bright as well. So this is going to be a powdery citrus fragrance, and I am really excited for it. I am here for it. I am ready to try this. I think it's interesting that Parfum de Marly in the last few releases that they've done, particularly with Valaya, they have released fragrances with a little bit of a citrusy zest to them, but juxtaposed with some fruity elements as well. In this case, that fruity element is here in the form of pear. I'm really interested in trying this release out. Um, I I'm interested. Let me know what you think. Are you a fan of what Parfum de Marly has been doing with their last few releases? Do you like the citrusiness? Do you think that the powdery fragrance route is going to be a little bit too polarizing? What do you think? I, for one, am particularly interested in this launch. Okay, next up we have a new release from Jousset. This is going to be called Le Tart Tartin. And this was previously available last year and it was an exclusive for Italy. So Italy was the only place where you could get it. Now it's available worldwide. And this is going to be a fragrance with top notes of brown sugar and salt, a mid of vanilla bean, apple, and tonka bean, and then a base of caramel and vanilla. This is a fragrance that I personally am also excited about. What I liked about this scent pyramid is that they're combining these sweet gourmand notes with a bit of saltiness. I think the saltiness will add a bit of a it'll prevent this fragrance from being too overwhelmingly sweet. And I think Jousset, from what I've smelled from them, they tend to be very photorealistic with their fragrances. So I like having that salty element in there because I think it will provide a good juxtaposition for the other sweet notes in here, because I have been someone who really loves gourmand fragrances, but sometimes gourmand fragrances can lean a little bit too sweet for me. And I like how they've added that saltiness in here. So I'm excited for this release as well. I think it's only available on Lucky Scent here in the US. I'm not sure. So this is not something I would blind buy. I would prefer getting a sample or at least smelling it if I'm ever in New York. But this is one, because they do have a storefront there, this is one that I'm excited about. But I definitely do not recommend blind buying this, especially since Jousset is a little bit of a higher end fragrance line. So yeah, regardless, I'm still excited about this release. Okay, so next up we have a fragrance from Ellis Brooklyn. This is going to be called Dear Sky, and I believe this is inspired by the Southwest. And this is a perfume with top notes of honeydew, melon, rhubarb, strawberry leaf, and bergamot, a mid of peony, tuberose, and pink pepper, and then a base of ambrette, cedarwood, galbanum. So galbanum, let me look at this note. This is supposed to be herbal and a bit of a green accord. And with this fragrance, I'm feeling a little bit conflicted. So first off, I do like the bottle. I think it's very pretty and very cute, but I am not too sure about the green elements here. And that makes me think I want to try this fragrance out. Like, I'm curious about it, but I feel like it could go one of two ways. So this could either be like a very sweet and refreshing scent with that honeydew, but I think it will probably veer towards something that's a little bit more green, because you have the strawberry leaf, but not straight up strawberry. You have the rhubarb, which I think could support like a green element, and then you have the galbanum. But you also do have peony and honeydew melon. So I feel like there's a lot going on here. There are not a lot of honeydew melon fragrances on the market, and I do think that's an untapped note that more and more brands are experimenting with, and I really love seeing that. The first most prominent one was, of course, Melon Kiss by Navitus and Gabby Loves Perfumes. So that one is a fragrance that I very much love, and I'm excited to see more brands experimenting with melon notes. So this is something I'm looking forward to smelling, but I am kind of apprehensive about it because I'm thinking it can either go super green, and I'm very particular about my green perfumes, or it can go something a little bit sweeter. So this is one I'm curious about. I feel like it'll be unique regardless. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Auntie Anne is coming out with Need, the scent of freshly baked pretzels in a bottle. This is interesting. Auntie Anne is obviously kind of like known as like an American staple. People really love this brand for their like cinnamon, I think pretzels and their cinnamon products. Okay, please don't judge me. I've actually never had an Auntie Anne pretzel before. Please do not judge me. So this is something that I'm curious about. I'm interested in this, but I don't have like I don't have the nostalgia that a lot of people associate with Auntie Anne to like pair with this. I do think that this will be a scent. I'm tempted to get it. Not gonna lie, because I think it'll be fun. They have 100 milliliter and 30 milliliter sizes. The 100 milliliter is $45. The 30 milliliter is 25. That is incredibly good in terms of pricing. That is excellent. They're launching it on August 13th. I'm excited about this. So, Auntie Anne's chief brand officer, Julie Younglove Webb, is saying that the fragrance composition includes notes of buttery dough, salt, and a hint of sweetness. I'm interested in this. I feel like this will be cool. It's different. It's definitely not something that we've seen before. So we have basically notes of salt, butter, cookie dough, and sweet notes. And on Fragrantica so far, this is described as a salty marine fragrance, which is interesting. I feel like we'll probably see a few changes to that. But I think it's interesting when you look at the fragrance space and when you look at where fragrances were like a few years ago, when everyone kind of like thought of fragrances as like these like luxurious items that were kind of inaccessible, but now you have more and more everyday like very typical brands coming out with fragrances. And this is an example. Auntie Anne is known as a brand that's like very closely related to food, and now they're coming out with something different. They're coming out with a fragrance, and that just goes to show, I think, how the fragrance industry has grown in the last few years, and I think that's fascinating. So yeah, this is something that I personally will be buying because it's $25, which is insane, and I am actually really curious about it. So yeah, Need. Who knew? Like this was so unexpected, and I'm actually really excited about trying this one out. So we have a new release from Roberto Cavalli. This is called Sweet Ferocious. This will be a woody citrus fragrance with top notes of orange peel, saffron, pomelo, and elemi, mid of tonka bean, amber, and oud, and then a base of gaiac wood, sandalwood, and cypriol. Not gonna lie, okay, I have a few Roberto Cavalli fragrances. I used to have two. I gave one of them away. Roberto Cavalli, I know that they're like a 2000s brand. Everyone used to really love them at that point. And I get that they're iconic, but like their fragrances to me, I'm not a huge fan. I'm not going to go out of my way to buy them. And I think this will be a pass for me. I am curious about the scent pyramid though. I feel like it's an interesting one. I love saffron. I love vanilla, and I think Roberto Cavalli in general, they have like a very signature way of doing sandalwood and vanilla that I do like. But at the same time, I'm not going to go out of my way to buy this because there's just like this fragrance house, like, or Roberto Cavalli fragrances to me, like they're not like, it's not something I'm obsessed with, and I don't really have any interest in getting this, so this will be a pass for me personally. Sabrina Carpenter is coming out with a new fragrance in this signature chocolate bar bottle design, and this will be called Sweet Tooth Cherry Baby. It's a cherry fragrance, as the name might suggest, with a top note of cherry, brown sugar, plum, and apple, a mid of dark chocolate, red poppy, vanilla orchid, and peony, and then a base of cashmere wood, amber, musk, patchouli, and resin. I have not tried sweet tooth fragrances before, but I will say with this, I feel like coming out with a cherry fragrance is extremely risky. Of course, I don't have insight into like how much cherry fragrances are selling, but I feel like there are only so many directions you can go with when it comes to cherry. And cherry has been done so many times, time and time again, and I feel like unless you have something very new and special to add, doing a cherry fragrance for me just feels boring. So this is not something I'm excited about. I'm not interested in this. I don't know how like what the red poppy will smell like and vanilla orchid. I think those are not scents that typically exist in nature. I feel like so this will be like the perfumer's interpretation of what those notes might be. I just feel like there's a lot going on here. I did hear from a reviewer who got this fragrance that this does not last, which makes me a little bit confused because this has a base of patchouli, which theoretically is supposed to make this fragrance last longer, but apparently doesn't last. So yeah, I'm not too excited about this. This will definitely be a pass for me, but let me know, have you tried the previous Sweet Tooth fragrance, like the light pink one? And if so, what do you think? Would you recommend it? Is it something that you still use? Because I know that they have the original Sweet Tooth fragrance, the pink one, and then Sweet Tooth Caramel Dream. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. And do you think it's worth it to have another cherry fragrance come out when we have so many affordable cherry options and so many high-end cherry options? What are your thoughts? We have a new fragrance from Lalique. This is Soleil Lunar. And I will say this, the bottle looks beautiful. And I usually don't call out the bottle like this unless it's really pretty, but I love this. This is like this ombre kind of design. It looks so pretty. We have top notes of mandarin orange, pink pepper, magnolia, a mid of heliotrope, ambrette, and cactus flower, and then a base of ambergris, musk, and moss. The scent pyramid itself, I don't know if I would love this. I haven't tried their Soleil perfumes, so I can't really speak to them, but the bottle looks so pretty. The bottle looks stunning. But yeah, let me know. Have you tried the Soleil perfumes? Are you a fan of Lalique in general? They have their Encre Noire fragrances, and I have Encre Noire à l'extrême, which has a beautiful vetiver. It's considered a men's fragrance, but I think it's a very beautiful fragrance to wear if you are anyone that likes vetiver and aromatic notes. I haven't tried a lot of their feminine fragrances, but this one looks absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I don't know if I'd buy it specifically just for the bottle, but in terms of what it looks like objectively, I like what I'm seeing. So Ariana Grande has a new fragrance release coming out. This is called Love Notes Angel's Kiss. This looks like a body spray, but it's not being described as a body spray. Let's see, what are the notes? So we have top notes of berry and rosewater, a heart of musk and rose, and then a base of amber, wood, and vanilla. I'm not like a huge fan of Ariana Grande perfumes, so I'll likely not be buying this, but I will be smelling it in store if I have the opportunity to. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of Ariana Grande perfumes. To me, they don't last. I understand a lot of people like them, but I don't think I'm the target demographic, and I don't necessarily like the perfumes just in general. It's just not, yeah, I'm not interested in this. This will be a pass, but if I have the opportunity to smell it, of course I will, just for curiosity's sake, but this is not something I would go out of my way to actually purchase. Okay, next up we have a fragrance by Byredo. They have a new release. I think they had another new release last week, which I covered, but this is going to be called Desert Dawn. This is inspired by nature, apparently, and it's supposed to be a spicy fragrance with a base of sandalwood. So we have top notes of cardamom and rose petals, a heart of sandalwood, cedarwood, and carrot seeds, and then a base of papyrus, vetiver, and silk musks. The thing with Byredo is, like, I like their fragrances, like their general scent profiles, the aesthetic, I like it. To me though, their fragrances, considering how expensive they are, and the fact that they don't last, to me, it's not worth it. So that's why I don't really, like, I haven't ever really had a Byredo fragrance on my wish list. I'm not interested in purchasing them really, because I think that it's just not worth it when you consider the price and the longevity. The longevity to me is not there. It's one of those like perfumes I think is a very elegant kind of smelling house, and I would be curious about smelling this as well. And I do like the bottles. I think the bottles look very elegant and beautiful. But is this something I'd go out of my way to actually purchase? Definitely not, because yeah, I'm just not a fan of Byredo in general because of their pricing, and I don't think it's worth it when you consider like the longevity, in my opinion. I actually do really want to try this brand out. We have a new release from Argos. This is going to be called Sacred Flame. And Argos, if you're unfamiliar with them, they're a niche perfume house that has some of the most beautiful bottles in the industry. Like it literally is a work of art. They're stunning. I've seen their bottles in person. I've tried their fragrances and they are beautiful. The fragrances are beautiful and the actual like the look of the fragrances are beautiful. I really want to try Argos out. They're on my wish list for sure. They're coming out with this unisex fragrance with top notes of bergamot, peach, tangerine, ginger, clove, grapefruit, and pepper tree, a heart of rose, tuberose, cinnamon bark, violet, jasmine, ores, and patchouli, and then a base of amber, sandalwood, benzoid, alpinax, tonka bean, vetiver, cashmere, and vanilla. I want to smell this one. I will definitely be smelling this. I don't know if Argos is carried in any stores that are local to me, but I do know that they are in the scent room in Dallas. So I will be looking out for them because I go to Dallas like pretty regularly. So yeah, I'm definitely excited about this. Their bottles are stunning. But I usually don't say that. I mean, I usually don't say that, but like when it comes to Argos, like they really blow it out of the water with their design. Like it's so beautiful. Like this is literally artwork. And yeah, so this fragrance, by the way, is inspired by Prometheus, who was the Titan god of fire. And he committed like in terms of like mythology, he's the one that stole fire from the gods to give it to humans, and then Zeus apparently was like so upset at him that he chained him to a rock and had like eagles like eat his like liver every day, and then it would grow back, and then I think Heracles came to save him. I don't know. I'm not like super into mythology. I used to be, but like essentially, Argos has their fragrances like inspired by like mythology, and I think that's super cool and inventive and interesting. So yeah, this is a release I'm actually really excited about trying. Let's see, what else do we have? Next up, we have a new release by Dolce and Gabbana. This is Devotion Intense. This will contain top notes of hazelnut, a heart of orange blossoms, and then a base of vanilla. I believe orange blossom is like their signature when it comes to this line, and they tend to do like a very signature vanilla as well with their Devotion fragrance. So this is something I'm interested in trying. I can't say I was like too blown away by the previous Devotion. I liked it, not enough to actually buy it. But then again, I'm very particular when it comes to adding new scents to my collection, especially if they're designers, because it's so easy to access designers and to try them. So I usually don't buy a fragrance until I absolutely love it. I will be trying this one out. I do think it's an interesting launch, but since it's so readily available, I don't feel pressure to buy it unless I really, really love it. So let me know, what do you think of this release? Do you like the Devotion line? I think it's interesting how so many brands are out here creating fragrances that are in the vanilla category, especially designer fragrances, because we haven't that's like a trend that has like been gaining momentum and it doesn't seem that it's going to die down anytime soon. We have a new fragrance from Narciso Rodriguez. This is All of Me Intense, and this is going to be a perfume with top notes of black iris and jasmine, a heart of rose geranium tuberose, and then a base of Australian sandalwood, vanilla, and musk. I'm interested in this, but I'm not super excited about this, and let me tell you why. So Narciso Rodriguez, I like their fragrances, but the one that I absolutely love is like the Narciso by Narciso Rodriguez, which they discontinued. That's like one of the most beautiful musks I have ever smelled in my entire life. Luckily, I bought myself a 3.4 ounce bottle of it because I tried it at a counter one time and it was like my favorite out of the entire selection, and then I was looking to buy it and they didn't have it in stock. And then I found out they discontinued it. The other fragrances in the line to me compared to that beautiful musk, like just they don't live up to that. So I'm interested in this, but will I go out of my way to like actually try it? Probably not. But if I see it, I'll try it. But I feel like their new stuff is not calling my name as much. So that's just my opinion. There you go. Alright, so that's it for today. Those are the fragrances I wanted to talk about in this week's new releases video. If you're not caught up with the previous new releases videos that I've done, be sure to check the playlist down below. I do this series every single week, so there's always a lot to talk about. But thank you so much for watching till the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this one and found it interesting, and I'll see you next time. Bye.